Good morning, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. This is Rich again, back for your first video blog of the day for Thursday, November 13th, 2014, around 7:03 in the morning in Billerica, Massachusetts. The sun's coming out, going to be highs in the 40s today, and tomorrow morning we could get some snow on the grassy surfaces according to 2 inches in some places. Some news to report: the Toronto Maple Leafs crushed the Boston Bruins by the score of 6-1 last night, ending the Bruins winning streak. The Bruins play again tonight against the Montreal Canadiens at Bell Center. The Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Boston Celtics by the score of 109-94. And also, Doug V.B. Goody is gone from Fox 25. He was the anchor at the Fox 25 Beacon Hill Studios since 2003, since the inception of the Fox 25 Morning News. There's rumors that Fox 25 is going to get rid of their Beacon Hill Studios soon because they're under new ownership. Cox Communications owns Fox 25, and there's rumors they're cutting down payroll and salary, and also might be cutting off the Beacon Hill Studios. So that's something that's in preparation for the closing of the Beacon Hill Studios. And it's also World Kindness Day. And that's about it on the news. My next subject is the continuation series of the top 10 greatest everything and anything. This is a real popular feature on my video blogs. I have reached the top 10 greatest New York Mets players of all time. The New York Mets play in the National League East. They were formed in 1962 as an expansion team to replace the New York Giants and the Brooklyn Dodgers, which moved to the West Coast as the New York National League team. They had the worst record of all time, 40-120 in 1962, and they had very bad years the first several years, but 1969 they had a miracle season called the Miracle Mets, and they won the 1969 World Series. They made it to Game 7 of the 1973 World Series, losing to the Oakland A's, and then they had a lot of down years, but in the 80s they were pretty good. And they won the World Series in 1986 against the Red Sox, 7 games and stuff. And they've also been to the playoffs 1988, 1999, 2000, and 2006. And here's the top 10 greatest New York Mets players of all time. Number 10 on the all-time list is Ed Colpool. He was a first baseman for the New York Mets for 18 years, 1962 to 1979. He batted .261, won 118 home runs, 614 RBIs, 1,418 hits. He made the All-Star team for the National League in 1965. Number 9 on the all-time list of greatest New York Mets players of all time, Jerry Grout Ketcher. He played for the Mets for about 12 seasons, .256 average, 35 home runs, 357 RBIs, 994 hits. He made 2 All-Star teams. Number 8 on the all-time list of greatest New York Mets players of all time, Kevin McReynolds, outfielder. He had 2 stints with the Mets, one in 1986 through 1991, and he had a second stint to end his career in 1994. Outfielder, .272 average, 122 home runs, 456 RBIs, 791 hits. He was placed 3rd in the 1988 National League's Most Valuable Player Award. He comes in at number 8. Number 7 on the all-time list of greatest New York Mets players of all time, Bud Harrelson. Bud played for the New York Mets for about 14 years, from 1963 to 1977. He was a shortstop, .234 career average, 6 home runs, 242 RBIs, 1,029 hits. He was an All-Star a few times. He was kind of a great defensive shortstop. Eventually, he became the manager of the Mets for about a year and a half in 1990 and 1991. Number 6 on the all-time list of greatest New York Mets players of all time, Howard Johnson, third baseman. He played 7 years for the Mets from 1985 through 1992, .251 batting average, 192 home runs, 29 RBIs, 997 hits. He led the National League in home runs in 1991. He made a couple of All-Star teams. Howard Johnson comes in at number 6. Number 5 on the all-time list of greatest New York Mets players of all time, Keith Hernandez. Keith played for the New York Mets for about 7 seasons, 1983 through 1989. He was the first Mets captain in 1987. His career stats with the Mets: 297, 80 home runs, 468 RBIs, 939 hits. Made a couple of All-Star teams while playing for the New York Mets. Number 4 on the all-time list of greatest New York Mets players of all time, Gary Carter, catcher, 249 average, 89 home runs, 349 RBIs, 542 hits. He made the All-Star team several times with the Mets. He played for the Mets 1985 through 1989, only for 5 seasons. And the Mets have not issued number 8 since his untimely passing in 2012, and the Mets are rumored to be retiring his number soon. They should. Number 3 on the all-time list of greatest New York Mets players of all time, catcher Mike Piazza. He played from 1998 through 2005. 296 career average, 220 home runs, 655 RBIs, 1,028 hits. Made several All-Star teams with the Mets, and I think the Mets should retire as number 31. I think that's going to happen when Mike goes into the Hall of Fame. Number 2 on the all-time list of greatest New York Mets players of all time, David Wright, third baseman. He's been with the team 11 years. He's the best player in the Mets right now. 298, and he's a third baseman. 298 career average, 230 home runs, 939 RBI, 1,702 hits. He's on pace for over 3,000 hits, and if he gets that, he's probably going to be a Hall of Famer. Hopefully the Mets win a championship when David Wright's around. He's a long-term player for them. And number 1 on the all-time list of the greatest New York Mets players of all time, Darryl Strawberry, outfielder. He played for the Mets from 1983 through 1990. 1983 Rookie of the Year. Made a lot of All-Star teams. A great outfielder. Led the National League in home runs for 39 in 1998. He was the runner-up for MVP of that year. He lost it to Kirk Gibson. The New York Mets have not had an MVP at all. Darryl's career stats with the Mets: 263 average, 252 home runs, 733 RBIs, and 1,025 hits. That's the list, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. Maybe in a few more days, I might do the top 10 greatest New York Mets pitchers of all time. I'm going to do this list periodically with the 30 Major League Baseball teams, the top 10 greatest players and the top 10 greatest pitchers of their franchises. But it's not going to be every day, though, because there's other stuff I want to do for top 10 lists and stuff like that. And there'll be some days that the top 10 list will be taken, giving some rest for other subjects. The other subjects today will be about the XFL, which was a one-year football league owned by the WWE and NBC. And the third and final video blog of the night is legendary professional wrestler, former football player, the late great Chief Wahoo McDaniels. And don't forget, Facebook friends and YouTube followers, coming soon. There's definitely going to be a blog about Julie Broughton, Local 6. Julie has the nicest smile and the nicest legs. And also Heidi Lee Pratt, who has the best smile in the world and the nicest legs in the world. Janelle Tobin, Crystal Pistol, Dee Patel, last week, No Boss, Donald Beauregard, Tony Ramos, Bruce Cronin, and Angelo. Have a good day, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. Bye now.